Hello. So, this is going to be about a problem I have that is not mental health associated, except for the fact that when it hurts really bad, it can make your whole life revolves around that pain. Anybody with chronic pain knows that. And you're not very much fun to be around because all you can talk about, because all you can think about is pain. Um, so I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Um, I have, it's called trigeminal neuralgia. Tri, three, geminal. It's the facial nerve, and when it comes out of the brain and out of a little hole and whatnot here, it branches into one, two, and three. You have one on each side. Neuralgia is painful nerve. Um, and there are different things that can cause it. Um, MS, little tumor pressing against it, um, and in my case, it was blood vessels wrapped around the nerve. So I was in my mid 20s. I was diagnosed with bipolar after. So this would be around like 96 is when I was diagnosed. It's been around for a long time. They used to have, um, it used to be very mysterious. Um, there were records going back, I don't know how long, quite a while in history about pain on one side of the face and head and jaw. Um, but because before surgery and stuff, and even after surgery, they 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 couldn't see what was causing the pain. And you could even do a scan and not see anything because if it's no tumor, if it's like mine, you have to, the only way to know is to go in and look. But so many people had the same symptoms, and so it became a disorder. And for a long time, the best you could do for treatment was like severing the nerve or um, zapping it. Um, that came later. But putting uh, medicine in against the nerve to purposely damage it, and hopefully um, they only ruin the feeling part because it also controls the mobility. So you could very well end up with half your face drooping. But that was a long time ago, and even when we're talking 96, that was a long time ago. Um, so what happened was one evening I was going to a movie. It was winter, so it was cold. That's important. And then I was looking up at the marquee to see what was playing, and I didn't bring my glasses, and so I squinted. And when I squinted, I suddenly got this sharp, piercing, lancing, shooting, repetitive pain in my temple ish and scalp and my forehead. And and so I grabbed my head and I was like, started kind of screaming a little bit and crying, and people were looking at me like I'm crazy. And the person I was with had went to park the car, and I was like, we gotta go home, something's wrong. And I had really crappy insurance at the time. It um and they wouldn't, they tried to tell me I had everything but that. um it never stopped. it it would like abate, it would like lessen a little bit, but it just kept going. And so I was a nurse, I was a registered nurse at the time, and I had to take off work. I couldn't talk, brush my teeth, um, even crying from the pain, the teardrop going down. See, like the nerves all confused, and it's taking sensations that are benign as painful events. And so I couldn't really even cry because squishing up my muscles, my facial muscles that way, set off the pain and made me cry harder. Um, I did go back to work briefly while I was struggling with my, it was Humana and HMO back then. You couldn't get anywhere without getting past your gatekeeper. And he did everything in his power to keep me from getting diagnosed and treated, and even blamed it on my history of depression. And I was treated for things that they knew I didn't have. I kept going to the urgent care place because I was in pain, and they were treating me like a pill, like I was, what is that term? Pill drug seeker. And I'm like, no, that doesn't stop it. And it, I'm not here to get narcotics because it doesn't help. And I did demand a neurologist consult, and and I went to him, and he did an MRI. He listened to what I said, and he told me what I had. And he said, and that's a real thing. Like, he talked to my doctor and wanted to tell me that I did in fact have this, and made sure to tell me because he knew my primary physician was trying to get by. The reason he didn't want me to get diagnosed is because then I would be treated, and that would cost Humana money, and they would get kickbacks for saving money. Like, you would get bonuses for being in the lower scale of spending money as a physician. So it was really crooked. Um, and so one time I even went to the urgent care, and I was like, there's this doctor in front of me, and I'm like, I have this trigeminal neuralgia, and my pain's not being controlled. He said, well, I don't even know what that is, I've never heard of that, so I'm going to treat you for a sinus infection. I mean, I dealt with all of this for several months, this kind of crap. I went back to work and then had a really bad episode, like really bad. I mean, I was just like holding my head, crying, just sobbing, because every second there was a new lancing pain, and I didn't know if it was going to be up here or if it was going to be on my cheek, or um, it uh, was it was terrible and terrifying. That's when ended up at home, unable to talk or anything, and I got really depressed about it. Um, and as soon as I was up for getting new insurance, I did immediately saw that physician. She sent me to this neurosurgeon who was like the guy in the Midwest for this problem. And so I get to him and he's doing his assessment, watch my finger, whatever. And he's in the middle of this neurological assessment and I started sobbing. And he was like, "Oh my God, what's wrong? Why are you crying? Where did that come from?" And I said, "Well, you just asked me about my history of depression, and I thought you were about to tell me that this was um, my depression, and you know, and I've had other doctors tell me that, and and he's like, no, 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 this is not anything to do with that. This is a real thing." Um, Partly why it took me so long to get diagnosed was because it's generally seen in like people who are in their 40s to 50s. Um, and it's usually seen in the jaw. People will be find themselves going to the dentist and getting root canals and stuff because they think they have tooth pain, but it's nerve pain, and it's actually something that's happening well, over here. um, and so he gave me the options. There was, at the time, gamma ray was experimental. Now it is not. And that is where they take a bunch of radiation lines and they all hit on one target at the same time, one tiny little they can zap. And but it was still experimental, and because I was younger, they didn't want to mess something up. And so let's see, I tried medication. There were some meds, but I was getting upped and upped and upped. I wasn't getting any relief, and the side effects of the meds were getting so bad. I was like walking into walls and seeing double. I couldn't drive. It was miserable. I primarily have it in my forehead, my eye, my cheek, and then back on my scalp. Um, so and then there was what I had. It's called a microvascular decompression of the left trigeminal nerve. The and So what they did was, I have a scar behind my ear, and they went in with little camera and little tools, and discovered two blood vessels wrapped around the nerve where it comes out of the little space from the brain and whatnot. So they put tiny little, I think it was Teflon, cushions to cushion the nerve. And they, excuse me, and hold on. They drilled holes in my skull to get to the spot, And it wasn't brain surgery, it was more cranial surgery. They weren't messing with the brain, but the outside where blood vessels and nerves are coming out. And I guess these blood vessels were important. They couldn't just like snip them and make them go away. So I felt relief. I woke up in recovery and it was gone. And I never heard from it for 10 years. I forgot that there were times where I completely forgot that I'd had this problem and the surgery because for 10 years I had nothing. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. And um, they said that it takes about 10 years, it'll last about 10 years. And because what happens is gravity eventually pulls things and the blood vessels sag and things move around. So it's usually about 10 years. And like right to the date, I started to feel a little bit of pain in those areas. Um, I'm having it really bad right now. That's why I don't want to touch, but it's just like here, and then it bores in right there. And so, um, but it wasn't until 12 years after the surgery that I started to need medication to help with it. And sometimes I would say, "Oh, it's no big deal. I'm not taking a high dose, and I'll go without it and regret it right away." I also keep doing things that I know set it off, but I just keep doing them because I get angry and defiant, and so I'm gonna make this work and totally regret it, which is what I am doing today. Because, so let's see, 10 years, I would have been about 35, 37. I'm 50 now. I can't, because of my brain problems, I have trouble. I can't do math in my head. Um, so I gave you the numbers. You can figure out how long it's been. But it's getting worse every year. But the things I do are um, where my hair is the biggest deal. I have wanted long hair for so long, but I have to keep it like this is almost too long. See, I don't want to touch over there. See, that hurt. That movement's over here and it hurts here. So this is like I will let it grow in the weight of it and mostly the moving of it. And I have these special little caps that I wear that are tight against the skull and keep my hair from moving. As soon as I get a haircut and I get it shorter, it's like, oh god, that feels so good on my head. But I keep trying to grow my hair and end up in the same place. And the other thing is driving with my window down. I love that. I love doing that. Like on a summer evening and you're just chilling and maybe taking the dogs for a ride. The movement blows my hair. Some people will resort to just buzzing their hair off because it hurts. And and I'll feel the pain usually later. Um, the cold months are the worst. Cold, um, especially wind. Even now, it's really weird because wind creates a constant burning pain. But a breeze or a ceiling fan, which I hate ceiling fans, people don't understand it. I'm like, I gotta turn this thing off. I'm like, because the breeze on my cheek will start the zapping pain. I have a medication that takes care of the constant burning pain, and a different one that takes care of the sharpshooting pain, but doesn't always get it. So, um, and then, do I have one with me? Headbands. I like wearing my hair back in a headband, and and I'll be like getting away with it for a couple days, and that's what happened to me today. Yesterday I wore a headband. All today has been pain, particularly in this spot right here. So, I have, um, so I have to be in a room where the air is pretty still and it's warm and it's usually uncomfortable for other people. Um, the this here pressing on my glasses is starting to bother me. I kind of question. It stops right around here, like from here back and to this side is fine, but anything going on here, not so much here. Which is where people usually have the pain. It's but I have some. I'll pause this and go get them. I have some essential oils someone got me, and they work. They give me about 1 to 2 hours of relief. Let me go get them. So you have to put it on without my hair moving. Don't touch it. Taking a shower can be an issue because the water running down my face, I couldn't take a shower for a while or wash my face. And in wet hair because it weighs more. But if I use this, which I'm going to put on after my bath tonight, it's a few things. With chronic pain, you not only have the pain of the problem, but when you have chronic pain, your muscles get really tight, and so you don't realize it, but you're just like really tense all day because you're uncomfortable, you're in pain. So some of these are aimed towards reducing muscle stress in here to help relax the back of the neck and stuff. And then there's stuff that's directly for pain relief. So I like this one the most. I use 3 on my neck and shoulders. Stress away. I'm not being paid. Not promoting anything. I'm just sharing. These are Young Living, which are pretty reliable. Stress away. It's a blend of stuff. So I'm not sure what's in it. Um, and whatever that says, I put that on my shoulders and neck, and then frankincense. And then directly on the pain, I do the path of the pain and the dot where it ends and is the most intense. I think that's the end of the nerve, and it's like it. Sometimes I can feel it moving along the nerve very slowly, and I'm just like dreading the point where it gets to um, the end, which is excruciating. Um, there have been times where it feels like I have all of a sudden, a bunch of bugs go crawling on my head because of the nerves setting off. So one of these is blue spruce, which is like a menthol type thing, and people use that smelly stuff for their arthritis. They rub it on. That's kind of like that. And so is this. This is called Deep Relief, and it's a it's still full. Don't need much. It's got a roller ball on it, which is metal, which is cold, but you have to just scrunch your face up and put it on. And the other thing about chronic pain is just the fear of setting off the pain. So you just uh, sit in the most, or lay in the most comfortable way possible, but they're very oily, which I don't like because it makes my skin very oily, but pain relief is better. um, I There are all kinds of theories as to what causes it. um, and some people, I know for sure what caused mine because what they did worked. um, I am not by any means eyebrow movement. I would when it was really bad, I would talk with this flat affect because I was trying to avoid using as many facial muscles as possible. So um, it was really demoralizing having healthcare workers look at me tell me to my face that you know I was not experiencing what I was experiencing. Um, and it's not nearly as mysterious now, but then I had the surgery and I was on the floor, the the surgical floor, um, and the nurses had never didn't even know what I was there for. They'd never heard of it. Um, I was in a group. There are known cases of kids having it. They couldn't understand why their kid was screaming when they braided their hair. And my mom was upset because she thought, she used to. I used to when I was a real little kid, scream when I got my hair washed. My mom said she thought the neighbors thought they were doing something to me, but I just didn't want her to um, wash my hair, and she thought maybe she was actually causing me pain all that time. And my hair was always kept short for a while to avoid having to get tangles. Anyway, um, so I I'm not anywhere near needing surgery. Uh, I will do anything I can to avoid uh, surgery because I don't want to spend the money on it. But if I'm in enough pain, I'm gonna go. Um, it's been steady enough that I don't see a neurologist for it anymore. My primary physician takes care of my meds, but um, there, I guess there may come a time when I have to take. I don't want to have to take around the clock meds. I take almost every medication at bedtime if I can possibly get away with it because I want the side effects mainly to be while I'm asleep. And Neurontin, and the other one is called zonisamide. They're both anti seizure medications. They just kind of keep the nerves from overreacting and um, misfiring and whatnot. Um, when I saw the movie Cake, I don't if you've ever seen it. The way she moves, like she does everything to avoid experiencing pain, and through most of the movie, like every movement you can see, Jennifer Aniston. She did a really good job, I think, at showing someone who's trying to deal with severe pain and mental pain that goes with it. And, but the way she moved her body and stuff, that, that's how did, that's how I dealt with my face before I had surgery. Um, and I was aware of the fact that people thought I was making it up. I was being a hypochondriac, attention seeking. Um, but I was like, I woke up in the recovery and I was like, it's gone. I could hear this little clicky noise in my head, and the nurses laughed at me in recovery because they thought I was still high. But I really did for a while hear a clicking noise. And so, one of this is silly, but one of my issues is the scar behind my ear. Sorry. When I like to wear headphones and stuff, but it starts to bother my scar, and they filled in the holes they drilled with some stuff. I don't know, but I can feel it, and it can become uncomfortable. Headphones or trying to hold my head and stuff. So, um, I I haven't been to the salon to get my hair cut in a long time since COVID. I've been managing at home with my mom's help, and but I really should have my hair just a little bit shorter, and it can make the biggest difference. Strangely, just throughout the day, my glasses don't bother me. If it's a really bad day, it means that I'm having pain in my eyeball. I'm not entirely certain if it's the actual eyeball. I think it's the nerve behind the eye, um, because these nerves creep and crawl on your nose. I would have pain my nose, but if it's really bad, it's in my eye, And like right here, it's like a hot poker just piercing in, and it never ends. And it that's when it, that's when I get like tearful, like my eyes start. I want to cry. Um, it's not as acute, like have a sudden sharp pain like I did. Now it is a constant burning in a line and like, and that's where this comes in. This helps a lot in those instances, but I have to keep it away from my eye a little bit. So, because you don't want that stuff in your eye. But like that hurts. My eyeball's starting to hurt for this one. But I've had eyeball pain all day before, and it's just a strange. If you didn't know, if someone didn't tell you what it was, you would think you were going crazy. I'm grateful that I don't have the jaw pain, the third nerve, I believe. I believe it's 1, 2, 3. Because I don't have any trouble chewing and eating and brushing my teeth, and all of that. It's activities. Smiling, if it's really bad, is, like I said, crying, smiling, laughing, just muscle movement, hair movement is the worst. So, I just wanted to share a little bit about that. And how I cope when it's bad. There are days where I don't feel a thing. And then it's like, if I'm going to feel it, it's going to be an all day thing, and it's going to be something I knew I shouldn't have done, and yet I keep doing it. So, just because I used to get that way with my bipolar medication. When I was first diagnosed, I had stopped taking it, I think twice, because I just felt defiant. I just felt like, I will not have this. I'm not going to have this disorder. I don't need this. I'm fine. And only to make things worse. So, I mean, there's a possibility that when I get 55, 60, that I might need something. When I stop, I isolate because of it, become depressed because of it, quality of life, yeah. I'm tempted to put on one of my caps. Just any nice snug cap keeps it like cradles my head, and it feels a lot better. But you have to put it on. You have to hold it out and put it on and slowly release it. I have these head things that I do put on my head when I'm in the car, and sometimes. So, I would, besides the hair and the headband, all that jazz, the cold wind or a light breeze can trigger pain. If it's constant. Before it was like instantly. And like, you can be confused about what's causing it, because sometimes, like if somebody punches you in the face and you feel pain, you can directly associate it with the fact that someone just punched you in the face, and Um, but in this, if I go outside with the dogs for half an hour in the cold wind and it's snow and the wind is blowing on me, and I'll go in and it'll be a little bit before, oh no, oh no, it hurts. Um, in the beginning, it was like a like a period of several minutes where it would just go, 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 go really bad. And then I would have a constant shooting that wasn't as bad. And so it was more immediate. And then every once in a while, I swear it was random, which is part of the problem with diagnosing, because not everybody has identifiable causation. Some people, it's just spontaneous, which would stink. I'm just very lucky. I finally got away from Humana, and I'm reluctant to have any surgery again. But I also don't want to be doped up with medication, so I will get by as best I can with alternative stuff. CBD helped me with my bipolar and anxiety, so maybe there's something in that. Maybe I should take some before I go on my bath and see if that helps. Because I hadn't been taking it very long, and I only take it at bedtime. So maybe I'll let you know how that works out. Um, so, my final message is that if you know someone with chronic pain, I'm not saying that if you have chronic pain, don't live. um, but I do want to understand how lonely it can be, because nobody else is experiencing what you're experiencing, and they don't know how bad it is, even when you verbalize, and they think you're exaggerating with your movements. So I just say be sensitive and encouraging. Um, I with this nerve pain, narcotic medications don't help. Ibuprofen helps me a little bit because of I actually start to get tense and achy in my muscles, and my scalp muscles are so. I don't like narcotics anyway. They make me feel very ill, very nauseous, but they don't work on nerve pain. You need the antidepressants and anti-seizure meds for pain relief. So, so that is all. I'm going to go to bed now. Well, my bath and then my bed. By the way, I am feeling better than I was in my last life. So, I hope to talk to you guys soon.